I don't have Julie or Andrew. Okay. Here we go. We are live. Welcome to Wednesday morning. Sometimes you get lost in the moment. Wednesday morning. Hope yesterday was awesome. Super smoking great. Hope tomorrow is twice as good as yesterday. But we're going to talk about today. I want to talk about how to win the day today for y'all out there. Because if you win enough days, you'll win weeks. Enough weeks, you win years, months, or weeks, months, years. There you go. You're going to put together a great career, a really cool career. And I was talking to Mark about this last night. I'm about careers. A lot of people can have big years. I want people to have big careers, big, crazy ass, successful careers where it's fun, exciting, and challenging and all that stuff. Here's Julie. Welcome, Julie. So, yeah, we're going to talk about that. And part of that, I kind of broke it down. I've been thinking about it. I broke it down into two things, at least from my perspective, what I see, feel, hear, all that stuff. A great career comes down to who, right? The 5 people, the 10 people, the million people, whatever. The who are in your life. And I want to talk about it. And then the second thing is the where. Who is in your life and what environment are you operating from? And are they conducive to big ass dreams? Okay. So let's talk about it. Who are the who's? Who are the great who's? What makes somebody a good people? If you had a gatekeeper that you're allowing folks into your party that you're going to hang out with, what is your criteria? What makes a great who? For me, smart. I need somebody who's smart. Smart's two things. Smart is somebody who's capable of learning, and then smart is somebody who's knowledgeable, right? Been there, done that. Scars. Okay. Caring. Have you ever been around these people that just don't care? It's hard. It's hard. I mean, maybe caring comes down to smart sometimes too, because sometimes you got to be smart enough not to care, but sometimes you got to be smart enough to care. And it's got to be a decision, not just a default. So have caring, I think. How about a willingness to try things? You ever be around people who just can't bend? This is the way it is. This is the way it's always going to be. And that's true in some things, in some ways. Like I tie my shoes the exact same way I've done it for all of my 42 years of life. But no, always. Is there a need to change? Yeah, I don't know. Probably not. Could it be different? Maybe. But I'm not going to spend a lot of time on my shoes. But there are things I'm willing to try differently. Big things. Even some small things, right? So I want people who are willing to try. If I'm going to put people around me to party and have fun, to build my life and my career, I want to know that they're willing to try things. Okay. I also want to know that they're willing to work. Nothing worse than jumping in on something with a bunch of folks that aren't willing to work, and they're looking at you like you're the worker. Tell you what, I'll be the boss. You work. Yeah, that's hard. That's hard for me. It can go for a little while, but then it doesn't work for me. I like people who are willing to listen. You've been around those people that just can't. They can't listen. It's my turn to talk, and I'll let you know when I'm done talking, and then I'll talk again. Right? So you got to be willing to listen. I think part of being willing to listen is somebody who's willing to learn, to grow. Right?
I think it's a state of curiosity.
State of curiosity. Love it. Love it. I want to be around people who want to teach. Right? They're so excited about what they know that they want to share it, because if I don't share it, somebody else is losing. Okay? I need somebody who's going to challenge me. Right? So let's talk about our who for a while, guys. Mark, who are you letting into your group? And let's say you can't let everybody in.
Yeah. Well, when I look at my personal group or my team group, one is I look for drive.
Okay, I like that.
That's huge, and work ethic. And the next thing is loyalty. I want to see loyalty. I want to see drive and work ethic. And
loyalty. Hold on, let's talk for a minute. Loyalty. Things don't always go well. There's bumps, there's curves, there's turns, there's sharp turns. And that's when loyalty shows up, right?
Yeah.
Right. When you can't see around the corner and somebody's saying, "Oh, little pretty, come around the corner to me." but you don't know what's around that corner. If I'm going to stay loyal to somebody who's loyal to me.
Yeah.
Okay. What else?
So I'm also looking for, are they other centered? I mean, do they have a servant heart? You know, it's funny, when I built my marathon makeover and I started building out leaders in my team, we first made the mistake of hiring people just on a paycheck. And guess what we found with those people that we just gave a paycheck to?
They just care about the money.
They were constantly doing this with their hand. And then we stepped back and we said, who's already leading? We looked to see who was already leading and serving and had the heart of that. And they weren't the best runners, but they were the best leaders. And those are the people that we hired. We actually ended up paying them less, but gave them bigger rewards, and we got greater results. So I want to see, are they already doing the things?
If you help enough people get what they want, you'll get what you want. Doesn't it kind of go back to that?
I think that's it.
Destiny, what are you looking for? Your who's?
My
We all
who,
got them, right? We all have them. We need to have them.
Yeah. My who's, I look for people who are doing it better than me, you know, who, like you said, think big and have big, audacious faith, and somebody that I can try to keep up with. Somebody who listens and pours into others. That's really important to me.
Okay, good. Julie, who are your who's? Who do you let into your life?
Well, I think everyone said someone who listens. That's important to me. And like Destiny said, someone who's doing it better. I always, from the time I was young, someone who can run faster than me, that's who I want to race against. Mm-hmm. That's who you learn from. Humbleness, resourcefulness, someone who's willing to figure it out, motivated, generous. Someone who's generous, and I don't just mean, and I don't mean a look at me generous with their time, generous with their faith, generous with, you know, what they do for others. Like Mark said, others centered, servant heart. Those are the types of people.
Because when you surround yourself with those types of people, you can really do some fun things, some interesting things, some really cool, hard things.
Well, and I think that there's an interesting tension with the otherness and servant-hearted, but they are not somebody that runs just by consensus. They have a true sense of vision and purpose, and they know that the people joining them are in a shared path. They're moving in the same direction, so they're free to be able to be servant-hearted, but they're not constantly just capitulating to the chorus,
right,
of naysayers or complainers.
Authentic, not afraid to swim upstream, not afraid to disagree. If somebody is always a yes man, to use that term, I'm usually repulsed by that. So somebody who's not afraid to say completely opposite of, and not for the purpose of saying it opposite.
Not to be a contrarian.
Right. Exactly. That's their heart. That's their, you know, they're not afraid to say, hey, I disagree. I don't think that this is a fair thing. I don't think this is a nice thing. I don't think this is a kind thing. I don't think this is, you know, whatever the reason is, but unafraid to speak up and do the right thing.
So let me ask you guys, do you have people in your lives like this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let me answer this. Do you have people that aren't like this in your lives? We do, right? Mm-hmm. And then let me answer this. Who do you spend more time with, thinking about or worried about or dealing with? The others, right? If you're like me, like I got some people in my life that are just black holes for goodness, right? If I'm feeling good, I'm going to go talk to this person because they're going to bring me down, right? If I'm on a roll, let me go talk to this person because they're going to just shut it down, whatever. But yet, for some reason, I keep them around. And that makes it hard to grow. Now, you can't get rid of every single one of those. You got to be a little bit careful. But how do you deal with that?
You have to have, you have to have someone who will bring you clarity and speak the truth. And the other thing is I can never quote the Bible exactly, but don't throw pearls before swine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If somebody absolutely is contrarian to you and won't listen to you, stop talking.
Mhm.
And don't spend energy on them, and
Okay.
work hard to not think about them and not let their toxicity get root inside of you, because that root is cancer growing. You've got to let go and forgive and stop talking. You don't have to dislike them, and you can, just don't be around them. Don't let them influence you.
Because this is big, right? Because we're not always up, we're not always right, we're not always perfect.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm speaking for you guys. Me, perfect all the time. I'm trying to give a little.
There's something that circulates in KW, which is what is culture. And the second one says taking a stand on an issue that's not popular, but is right. And you need, and a lot of times it takes time to see that person's not a contrarian, but they're committed to speaking the truth and taking a stand for what's right. So they're not fighting, they're not looking for a battle, but they're willing to go to the fight when it's right.
Mhm.
Sure, for sure. And so I'm telling you guys, it is absolutely vital, vital, vital. Underline, highlight, bold, whatever you got to. This is vital stuff. Get people in your life who are doing the things we're talking about. They're smart, they're caring, they listen, they push, they pull, they hug, they slap you in the face saying, snap out of it,
Mhm.
whatever, right? Find those people, surround yourself with those people, and watch your world blow up in a good way. Okay, second half of the equation from my perspective is your environment. What does your environment look like? Is it helpful? Is it conducive? Does it allow you to grow, or is it a box around your greatness? You got to be careful, because what looks like a wide open prairie has electric fences, or something, from an analogy standpoint. So from an environment, what I'm looking at is community. Is there a like-minded group that I can go to, that I can join, and their momentum will carry me even when I'm tired, right? Is there support? Can I go to them and will they say, hey, you know what? Great question. Why don't we take a look at this? Or are they just, you know what? Go to the back of the line and pay attention and whatever, right? There's got to be support, because we're not always on it, right? What was it? Margaret Mead or somebody said you can tell when humanity moved from animals to humans when they found the bones of somebody who had a broken leg that was healed, which told her that meant somebody else had to take care of this person while they were healing. They couldn't feed or hunt for themselves. That's what humanity was created. That's what I'm thinking from a support and community standpoint. Training, right? I want my environment to be able to teach me new things. I want it to have a vision. When I'm in somewhere, I want to go there because there's a grander thing than what I'm currently operating within that I share. And then they're capable. It's one thing to talk the talk. Can they walk the walk? Is the environment that I'm operating in such that, not only are they casting a vision and they're creating all this, they are doing it. They're capable of doing it, and they're capable of more. So that's my environment. What are you guys thinking? What are you seeing from your environment? Do I miss anything?
I would say doer versus theory. Somebody who has demonstrated success versus someone who's just read a lot. Podcasters. Here we are now. But what I would say is be very, very careful about who you listen to. How much experience do they actually have? Are they someone who's just repeating, parroting, and taking it from here and putting it here, and trying to get attention that way? How much success do they have? Don't listen to people who don't have success.
It's interesting. We're in a culture of famous instead of great. People are striving to be famous,
right?
Instead of great, and that's, to your point, Julie. It's looking for where greatness is showing up, and sometimes greatness is very humble and silent.
Mhm.
It's not promoting itself, but you can see when other people are telling that story, then there are fingerprints of greatness there.
Destiny, what does your environment look like?
My environment looks like people that I can look to and follow. You know, that's important to me. Having a leader that I can look up to and say, I would follow you. You know, I would emulate what you're doing. And when I don't see that in certain roles, it pushes me away. And so then I want to go into that place where I can find somebody that I can emulate and follow and trust.
Yeah.
That's what my environment looks like.
Isn't it exciting when you show up at work and you're feeling good about things? You show up at work and there's 2 or 3 other people there that are also feeling good about things.
Exactly.
Now you're 10xing it. It's just blowing up. And they're ready to work and they're getting into it and they're into it. So now you're into it and we're all into it and we're just all going. It's such a great thing. Now the opposite of that is you're not feeling it and you get to work and somebody else isn't feeling it. They're like, I know, right? And then you just start piling on the whole day. You know what? We need to get out of here and go get something to eat.
Well, you know, there's something to be said about avoiding the negative and the downward spiral and the energy vampires. But on the flip side, you have to be in an environment where you respect and are open to people telling you, John, you're doing this wrong, or that was unkind. You know, I like one of the things that I'll say to my husband is, you know, please tell me there's certain areas of my life that I want to improve on, but those areas that you
what a trap.
Yeah, those areas that you want to improve on the most.
I don't need anything for my
areas,
birthday. Okay. And then you get nothing. It's the whole world blows up.
No, but the point is being open to what they say, because the things that they're going to say to you, like someone who, it's very few people that you trust their criticism. You have to be able to be criticized and receive it and not react and defend yourself, because it's an area that you want to improve. And if it's an area you want to improve, you're likely blind in that area.
For sure.
And it's hard to hear what they have to say. So they have to be trustworthy and someone who you know is going to tell you and that they're honest and transparent with you.
Yes.
Love it. Love it.
And there's something powerful when they're speaking from their own past or their own experiences and maybe even their own failures to say, you know, I've been down this road and I care about, not that you have to conform, but let me give you a perspective, and it may sting. There's something powerful about that.
Well, that's leadership, what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And so here's the thing. The reason why this even comes up, right? We don't talk about this when we're all rolling, right? You talk about what you're going to buy, what you're going to do, and all this stuff. But it's tight right now, right? Real estate's tight. Whole economy's tight. Things are tight right now. And so there's reflection that occurs in these times. And you start to look and see, okay, keep the stuff that is working, right? Let's be smart. The stuff you got to have, and it's working and it's good. But then you start looking around, okay, what can I make? What little adjustments? What big adjustments? Am I in the right place? Am I surrounded by the right people? What does the right people in the right environment look like? Can I identify it? And then compare it to where you're at. And if you need to
identify the failure and embrace the failure, because, you know, it's rare that a successful person will say, I've experienced nothing but success. The person who is really successful has experienced more failure than anybody else and just gotten up faster. You learn to get up faster, but you have to recognize the failure and embrace it and move through it instead of keeping yourself down, beating yourself up, being negative. Recognize what you did and what your role was and say, okay, I might have been a victim in these areas, but this is the choice I made. I went into the dark alley and this is what happened. So recognize what you did so you can learn from it.
There's a guy on TikTok that's viral, a young kid, I think out of Phoenix, maybe even. He goes up to people on the street who look like they're successful, and he asks them, have you ever been broke? And they all look at him. Yeah, many times and whatever. And
couple of times.
So can I ask you what you do? I think that's how he starts it. Can I ask you what you do? Oh, I'm a hedge fund. Whatever, right? And then he says, have you ever been broke? And they're like, oh, yeah, right. So yeah, it goes that way. But my point of it all, in a good reason why we do this, is one, I've been incredibly lucky, right? I've had some of the best coaches in the business. I've been doing it long. I've had some ups, some downs. Fortunately, I've had more ups and downs. So I know a lot, seen a few things and whatever, and I'm willing to share what I know. Maria talks about it's hard to find somebody who can share. in Wilshire. I used to have a mastermind where I brought in the biggest agents around here. It's amazing because I didn't know anything. I was brand new. So I brought in the biggest agents around because I wanted to have some conversation like this. None of them would say anything. I, who knew very little, was the only one who talked about anything. Everybody was holding their cards, waiting to see if anybody would, right? What can I learn here and get out of here? It was the worst. But I think Gary, and I used to question Gary on everything, like he's just trying to sell books, whatever. But I think he has it right. I think he has a teacher's heart where he's trying to teach people how to do more. Now he's not afraid to charge for those lessons, which is fine, right? But I think he's right. And so that's why I do this. That's why I share what I share. And I don't really care who hears it. There are no secrets. I think if you want to outwork me, you're going to win.
Yeah.
So share, find a place. It's harder now than it was. It'll be easier than it is. But I think if you find your who's and your environments, when things do get a little easier or a lot easier even, you're going to be grabbing up more and more than you otherwise would have if you position yourself with the right who's and wheres.
Mm-hmm. Just be selective with your who's. Be selective.
Be careful.
Really think through. Come up with a couple of filters. What are your filters? Decide what they are. Do they listen? Are they resourceful? Are they transparent, authentic, genuine? Come up with your own filters and run them past that. Are they humble, hungry, smart? Figure out what those things are and run them through that filter.
Love it. And I want to thank all y'all that come on here because you're exciting for me, right? I think about this a lot, and when we come on, we talk. It's someday my hope. Here's my dream. One day I'm going to bump into you somewhere unknown. We'll be in Philadelphia, I don't know, wherever. And you're going to come, oh my God, I see you in the mornings. You know what? My business is up 800%, or I bought that house. I'm financially, I'm this, I'm that, whatever. That's a dream for me. Having somebody that is part of whatever I talk to somehow did something that said, you know what? Thank you. I bet Gary gets that all the time. I get it from time to time from a few people. But Kyle says jealousy, comparing yourself versus other people, plus a mental health disregard. That's what I see happening. Yes. There's so many people that are ranked number one. It's amazing. I wonder if there's anybody number two. Let alone 10, 12, 15. Oh, Lord.
There's something powerful when you step into a position with a mindset of abundance. And you just say, if they beat me, I'm going to applaud them. There's still enough. It's not crowded at the top. Let me tell you, it's crowded at the bottom. And if somebody beats me, I used to do that with wrestling. Arm
wrestling? Is that what happened?
Yeah. When I was in high school, I went from basketball, where a coach decided my playing time, to wrestling. And my basketball coach said, "Why are you doing that?" I said, "Because when it comes to the tournament, the wrestling coach says, you two wrestle off. And if he beats me, he deserves the spot." And I never begrudged being beaten. I just determined to be better. And I think that's the thing is, I want to applaud those that have greater success because I want to learn from them.
There's always somebody that has greater success.
That's the key is when they beat you, say, aha, what are they good at? Where are they better? And then learn. I used to run track when I was young, and, I would watch, I did hurdles, and I'm like, what do they do different? What little tiny thing? What can I emulate? Mm-hmm.
I went into that room, the Gary Keller Mastermind. I remember 252 deals, I think we had at the time, 180 million in sales. It's a good year, right? And I was telling somebody, like, I was all puffed up. Oh, how much here? And they're literally looking at me like, yeah, all right, good for you, right? Like, that's a good month for them. I just went from here to here. Yeah, I'll be right back. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't in a bad way. It was in a good way. It's like, yeah, I love it. I love what you're doing, except keep working, bud. You'll get there. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Right. So we haven't done everything here. There's a lot that we haven't done. Well, let's be honest, right? But we have done more than some, more than a lot, folks, and we're willing to share. So keep coming back here. Ask questions. If you have questions, we're more than happy to answer them. John, love you. It's what we love to. All y'all, It's so great. Anybody else have anything? Because I have to go to work.
That's it.
We're all good. All right. We'll see you tomorrow then. See y'all.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.